Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video, I am explaining about two different APIs. One is a Signal Mask API and one is SIG Action API. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. To get the notification of my new videos, please click the bell icon. And please don't forget to like the video and please don't forget to share the video with your friends. So let me begin the explanation of Signal Mask API and SIG Action API. So what is a signal mask? So each process in Unix or POSIX has signal mask. So each process contains a signal mask that defines which signals are blocked by a process. So every process maintain a signal mask. That signal mask contain the details of the signals that are blocked, right? A blocked signal right, can be unblocked, right, by the recipient process. It is a choice of the recipient process whether to block the signal or to unblock the signal. Anyway, signal mask contains the blocked signals detail. If a process wants, it can unblock that signal. It depends on the recipient process to unblock it or not, right? If a signal is specified to be ignored and blocked, it is implementation dependent on whether the signal will be discarded or left pending when it's sent to the process. So it's purely dependent on the process whether to ignore any signal or to block any signal, right? It's purely implementation dependent. So in Unix there are so many different implementations. Fedora is there, Ubuntu is there. It's purely dependent on the implementation whether to ignore the blocked signal or whether to left pending it, right? It depends. And a process initially inherits the parent signal mask. So when you create a child process, whatever the signals that are blocked by the parent, the same signals will be also same signal details will be also sent to the child, right? Child will inherit the parent signal mask. Whatever the signals that are blocked by the parent, the same signal will be blocked by the child process also, right? And also any pending signals are there. If a parent has any pending signals, that pending signals won't be passed to the child process. Now pending signals will remain in the parent itself, right? So the parent signal mask will be inherited by the child process. Same signals that are blocked by the parent will be blocked by the child process also. Hope you are understanding, guys. Next. So if a process wants to query or if a process wants to set its signal mask, how it can do it? A process can do that. A process can set its signal mask or query its signal mask using a SIG Pro Mask API. SIG Pro Mask API. You can see there this prototype contains a argument. That is, what is the first argument here? So CMD is the first argument and the second argument is the new mask and the third argument is the old mask. So the data type, what is the data type I am using here? SIG set is the data type I am using, right? So what are the arguments here? Command is the first argument, second argument is the old mask, new mask, third argument is the old mask, right? Now what is the new mask here? New mask defines a set of defines a set of to be set or reset in a calling process signal mask. If you want to change the signals that needs to be blocked, suppose if you want to unblock some signals, if you want to unblock some signal and if you want to add some new signals to be blocked, you can do that using the new mask. New mask defines a set of signal that needs to be blocked in a signal mask. CMD specifies how the new mask value is to be used by the API. The possible value of the CMD specify, yes, you blocked the signal, you seted the new mask, how it should be used, how you are going to use the new mask, right? That is to be specified by CMD. So you can see here the CMD values are sig set mask. What it's going to do means, based on the CMD value, it is going to overwrite the calling process signal mask with the value specified in the new mask argument. So it is going to override the calling process signal mask. It is going to replace the old signal mask value with the new mask argument. Next, what is the second one? The next one is sig block. What it's going to do? It's going to add the signal specified in the new mask argument to the calling process signal mask. Here it's not going to override the old signals. No. Based on the second value, that is block value, it will add that to the mask. That's all. It is not going to override the old values. It is going to just add the new signal to the mask. That is sig block. What is sig unblock? It removes the signal specified in the new mask argument to the calling process signal mask. So if you want to remove the already present signals in the signal mask, you can unblock that, you can remove that, right? You can remove that signal specified in the new mask argument to the calling process using a sig unblock. Getting, guys? You can replace the old mask, or you can add the new signal to the new mask, or you can unblock, or you can remove all the signals, right, based on the CMD values. Getting, guys? Hope you are understanding. New mask is the signals that has to be added to your signal mask. New signals, right? So hope you are understanding, guys. Next, if the actual argument to new mask argument is a null pointer, so you are not giving any value to the new mask argument. You are not you don't want to mask any new signal. If it is a null pointer, the CMD argument will be ignored. You are not going to consider the CMD argument if the new mask argument is a null pointer. Why? Why means you are not adding anything. You are not adding any signal to the signal mask, new signal. So that's why CMD argument will not be affected here, it will be ignored. And the current process, whatever the previous process signal mask is there, it's not going to be altered. The same signal mask will be maintained. Getting, guys? Next, the old mask argument is the address of the sig set underscore t variable that will be assigned the calling process original signal mask prior to a sig pro mask call. The old mask argument is the address of the variable that will be assigned the calling process original signal mask. In simple words, the old mask argument contains the original signal mask. It is the old signal mask. It is the original signal mask. If you want to replace it, you can use it. You can replace it using a new mask argument. You know that, right? Before the sig pro mask call. Before the sig pro mask call means once you call the sig pro mask call, you can alter your signal mask, right? Before the sig pro mask call means that is the old signal mask. That is the old signal mask. Getting, guys? If the actual argument to the old mask is a null pointer, no previous signal mask will be returned. Obviously, here also the old mask. Null pointer means old mask argument is a null pointer means no previous signal mask will be returned. That means no mask is maintained. No mask is maintained, right? Mask is there, but it does not contain the signals that needs to be blocked. Don't get confused, guys. Old mask argument means it is the value of the old mask. If signals are there, no problem, it will be there. If signals are not there, it won't be returned. Mask will be there. You can add the signal or you can delete the signal if you want, right? It's your choice. And the return value of the sig pro mask call is 0 if it succeeds. Obviously, what is the value this function is going to return means this, if this function is a success, it will return 0. If it is a failure, it will return -1. Next, the sig set underscore t, I told you it is a data type, right? You can see here. So for two arguments, old mask and a new mask, I used a data type 6set underscore t, right? The 6set underscore t is a data type. It is a derived data type, right? It's a data type defined in signal.h header. So where this data type is defined, this derived data type 6set underscore t, it's defined in signal.h header. What it contains? This data type contains a collection of bit flags, with each bit flag representing one signal defined in the system. So here in this data type you can contain any, you can add any number of signals. The data type can contain any number of signals. For each signal you are going to maintain a bit flags. For one signal, one value. The flag is going to contain a value based on the particular signal. For every signal you are going to maintain a value, and that value will be stored in a flag called bit flag. So flag, you know that in a general sense, flag is nothing but it's a variable. It is going to store the Boolean values. Flag either contains 0, flag either it contains 0 or 1. Flag contains 0 or 1. So if for example, here if a signal is there, it may represent the signal if it is there by the value 1. If signal is not there, it may represent by the value 0. But remember that you can maintain any number of signals in this data type, and for each signal you are going to maintain a bit flag, right? Bit flag will contain some value based on that signal. For every signal we have a bit flag. Getting, guys? And one more thing, the BSD Unix. The BSD Unix and POSIX.1 define a set of API known as 6set top functions. The BSD Unix define a set of API known as, it's a set of API known as 6 set tops or 6 set OPS functions. So which set, reset and query the presence of signals in a 6set underscore t variable. If you want to know what are the signals that are present in this data type, you can do that using a 6set OPS function. You can reset the value, or you can set the value, or you can query the presence of signal in this variable. If you want to know about the signal, you can just query right using this 6set OPS function. Not only that, if you want to reset, you can do that also using this in BSD Unix. Now this is a small program. It's going to explain different types of functions, right? So first is a sig empty set, sig add set, next sig delete set, sig fill set, and sig is member. So these are the different functions, right? Now I will discuss these functions in detail. The SIGEmpty API clears all signal flags in the signal mask argument. That means if you want to delete all the signal related data in the mask, you can do that using the SIGEmpty set API. You can see there. So what is the argument I am giving? SIGMask, because I am to delete all the details related to signals that is present in the SIGMask. That's why I am giving the argument SIGMask in the SIGEmpty function. It is going to delete all the signal related information, right, in the signal mask, right? So I am using a variable called 6set. You know that I discussed 6set typed variable, right? If you want, you can reset, query, right? You can do all those things. So next is what? Sig add set. So sig add set API sets the flag corresponding to the signal in signal mask. That means if you want to add any signal to the signal mask to block that signal, you can do that using the sig add set API. Next is the sig delete API, delete set API. It's going to clear the flag corresponding to the signal number in the signal mask. That means if you want to delete any signal from the signal mask, you can do that using the sig delete set. Here there is a difference between a SIGEmpty set and the sig delete set. SIGEmpty set, irrespective of signals, it's going to clear all the signal related information, but signal delete set is going to clear the signal only that signal you are going to pass, right? Only the signal it's going to take the signal that is chosen by you, and it's going to delete only that signal that is selected by the user, not all the signals. That is the difference between the signal empty set and the signal delete set. And the next one is the sig fill set API. It is going to set all the flags in the signal masks. If you want to fill set means if you want to set all the flags in the signal mask, if you want to set the values for all the signals at a shot, you can do that using the sig fill set API. And one more important thing, the return value of sig empty set, sig add set, sig delete set and sig fill set calls is 0 if the call succeed. Obviously, if this function is succeeded, it will return 0. If this function is failed, it will return -1. Getting, guys? And the last function, the sig is member API returns 1. When it will return 1, sig is member, when it will return 1 means if the flag corresponding to the signal number signal in the sig mask is set 0, right? If not set, that means if it's going to check whether the particular signal, right, belongs to the signal mask, right? If any particular signal, if you want to check that signal whether it's a particular signal is present in the signal mask or not, you can do that using the sig is member function. If the signal is present, then it will return 0, right? And if call fails, it will return -1. Just don't get confused, guys. Sig is member means right, if the flag corresponding to the signal number signal in the signal mask is set 0, right, it will return 1 if the signal number is set. Whether in the simple words, if a signal is present in the set, it will return 1. Otherwise, if not set, it will return -1. Getting, guys? Don't get confused. You can see there. You need, what are the arguments here? For signal add set, for signal delete set, right, for everything you need a signal number. Based on that number only you are going to identify the signal, right? So fill set, to fill the every signals in the signal mask, you need a signal mask as the argument in the signal fill set. But in signal is member, you can see there, you need a signal number and also you need a signal mask details, because you have to check particular signal whether it is there in the signal mask or not, whether it is a member or not. Getting, guys? Hope you are understanding. Next, this is the example program. It's going to check whether the signal int signal is present in a process signal mask. That means this particular signal int signal, whether it is in the signal mask, right? If it's not there, it's going to add it to the mask. If it's right, then clears the signal SCGV signal from the process signal mask. Don't get confused, guys. This is a program to add a signal. What is the, if you want to know about POSIX defined signal, you can refer my video that is in the playlist Unix system programming, right? So here you need to understand that here one signal, what is that signal? Signal int, signal int, it's going to be added to the signal mask. That means added to the signal mask means you are going to block that signal, that is signal int. You are going to block the signal int. If it is not there, you are going to add it to the mask, and you are going to clear the sig SCGV, that is segmentation error signal. You are going to clear that SCGV signal that is present in the signal mask. You know that, right? Signal mask, why I need a signal mask means to block the signals. Here, which is the signal that is blocked here? Sig segmentation V, sig seg V is blocked. I want to remove from that signal mask. I want to add one more signal, that is sig int, to the signal mask, right? I have to check first. If it's not there, I want to add it. So we will see that program. It's a very simple program. I'm using a header file signal.h. The program execution starts from main. So here I am defining a signal mask. What is the data type I am using? Because I have to store the signals in a signal mask. I have to store the blocked signal in a signal mask, right? That's why I'm using the signal mask. And the data type, as you know, it's a sig set _t. I'm checking, I'm initializing the signal mask. First I am checking whether my signal mask is empty or not. That's why I am using a function sig empty set, right? Getting, guys? Next I am checking whether the signal mask is present or not, because that's why I am using sig pro mask. Sig pro mask is used to query or to set the signal mask. That's why I am comparing with it the -1. I'm get current signal mask. If signal mask is, I'm checking whether the signal mask is present or not. If signal mask is not present, it will print a error, p error, sig pro mask, and it will exit. Because if mask is there only, I can add the signal to the mask. If mask is not there, I can't do anything. That's why I'm checking whether the mask is present or not. Yes, if mask is present, it's go to the else condition. It's going to add the signal into the signal mask. You can see there I'm using a function sig add set. Why I'm using that? I'm going to add the signal int to the signal mask, right? And what is the signal I have to delete? That is sig segmentation V. I have to delete that signal from the signal mask. That's why I'm using a sig delete set. Getting, guys? Right? And one more, again I'm checking whether the signal pro mask with the signal set mask, because if signal mask is not there, I have to start a new signal mask. Because if the signal mask is there only, I can add it. Getting, guys? Otherwise I can't add the new signal to the signal mask. If error is the error, it will error will be displayed. That's why I have to check whether the signal mask is present or not. If it's not there, I have to come out of the if statement. Then I have to add the signal mask, that is start a new signal mask, that I have to add the new signal mask. Then again I can repeat the same step to add the signal int to the mask and to delete the sig segmentation from the mask. Hope you are understanding, guys. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section, right? And one more important thing, if there are multiple instances of the same signal pending for the process, it is implementation dependent whether one or all those instances will be delivered to the process. That means if the multiple instances of the same signal, that means for a process, if SIGINT, 2 or more SIGINT signals are there for only one process, it is purely dependent on the process which one to take first and which one to keep pending. Process has to decide that. And a process can query which signals are pending. If a process wants to check which signals are still pending, it can do that using the API, sig pending API. You can see there. What is the argument to the sig pending API? Signal mask. Because in the signal mask only I have to check whether the signals are pending or not. That's why I'm giving an argument sig mask to the API sig pending. Getting, guys? So sig mask is assigned the set of signals pending for the calling process by the API, and sig pending returns 0 if it succeeds, and obviously it will return -1 if it fails. Getting, guys? So a process can check whether which are the signals that are pending using a sig pending API. So this prototype is going to return 0 if it succeeds and -1 if it fails, right? So in Unix system v3 v4, right, this Unix system v3 v4 supports the following APIs as simplified means for signal mask manipulation, right? So this APIs are supported in v3 and v4, just remember that, right? What are those APIs means? Sig hold, sig release, sig ignore, sig pass. For every function you are going to give the argument signal number. Signal number will act as the address of the particular signal. For every signal there will be a signal number. Next, what the sig hold API does? The sig hold API adds the named signal to the calling process signal mask. That means if you want to add the signal to the signal mask, you can use sig hold. If you want to remove the signal from the signal mask, you have to use sig release, right? What is the sig ignore? So if you want to ignore any, for example, see, It is going to set the signal handling method for the named signal num to signal default. If you want to change the signal settings to signal default, you can do that using the signal ignore. Next, the signal pass. It is going to remove the named signal. If you want to remove any signal from the signal mask, you have to use a function signal pass, right? And it's going to suspend the process until it is interrupted by a signal. Obviously, it is going to suspend the process until it is interrupted by a signal, because if you have to remove the signal from the signal mask. Getting, guys? To add the signals, you have to use siggold, right? So if you want to remove the signal, you have to use sig release, right? If you want to change the signal settings to default, you have to use sig ignore. And signal pass API is also used to remove the named signal from the calling process signal mask. But the only difference is it also, along with that removing, it also suspends the process until it is interrupted by a signal. Getting, guys? Next API is the sig action. The sig action API is a replacement for the signal API in the latest Unix and POSIX system. I explained the signal API. So if you want to know more about the signal API, you can check in the playlist Unix system programming. So the sig action is also do the same thing as signal API, right? Getting, guys? In the recent Unix systems, instead of signal API, they are using a sig action. It is going to do the same thing as signal API. The sig action API is called by a process to set up a signal handling method for each signal it's want to deal with. For every signal, you have a signal handling method. So signal handling method means what? Signal handling method means you know that signal can take three actions. Either it can signal when a signal is called by the process. When a signal is reached the process, signal can be ignored. That is the first case. Or else it can take a default action. Process can take a default action, or it can call the user defined methods. Getting, guys? So this is the signal handling method. Signal handling means a process should take action for every signal. Either it should activate the default action, or it should ignore the signal, or it should call the user defined methods. Getting, guys? So you can see there the sig action API prototype is signal number, sig action, old action. That means you can see here sig action contains the handler. You can see there the handler field can be set to signal default or signal ignore or user defined signal handler function, because for every signal you have to set the handler, right? I already told you three cases are possible. A signal can be ignored, you can set the default action to the signal, or a user defined signal handler can also be called, right? So signal number is the first argument. Action: for every signal you have to specify the action, what action it has to take, whether ignore, whether default action it should take, whether user defined signal handler should be activated. So those things are defined in the sig SA handler that is present in the sig action. Getting, guys? Right? Next, the SA mask field is also there, right? So why it is there? Because it is going to specify additional signals that process wishes to block when it's handling signal number signal. So it is a mask contains the signals that are blocked, details of the signals that are blocked. Next, signal number argument. Always you know that for every signal there will be signal number, and based on that signal number you can call the signal handling action. Signal handling action, there are three types. Either it can be ignored, or it can be default function, or it is a user defined handler. You can call any of these three actions, right? And the previous signal handling method for signal number will be returned through the old action argument. That means old action. So the previous signal handling method, for example, the previous signal handling for a particular signal can be default, right? and now you are going to change that to the ignore. So what is the world signal action? Default action will be returned. Getting guys? Default action will be returned. That is the world action. So for a signal, assume that it has a default action. So now you are changed to, now the default action is changed to ignore. If you want to know that, you can use that world action argument to know that, which is the world argument that was that were assigned for the handling method. And if the action argument is null pointer, the calling process existing signal handling method for signal num will be unchanged. If you are not specified anything, the action argument is null, the signal the method will be unchanged. The previous method will be there. The old method, the old actions will be there. Getting guys? So sig action is going to do the same thing as the signal API. Signal number, you need for every signal there will be signal number. So for every signal you need to take an action. That's why sig action, 3 actions you can take, and world action is going to tell the previous handling method, right? The following C program illustrates the use of sig action. You can see here. So I used a header file unistd signal.h, you know that. So you are using a function call me. So what is the argument for the call me function? Signal number, because if you want to catch the signal, particular signal, you need a signal number, because signal number will act as the address. That's why to catch the signal you need a signal number. Next is the main function, you can see here. So your function is what? Call me function. So in the main function you are using a signal mask, right? What is the weighted data type for the signal mask? Signal set underscore t is the data type for the signal mask. Next, you are using a action, because for every signal you need to take some action. You know that 3 types of action can take place, and also world action also I am using, because if that sig action pointer contains a null means, so it will take the world action and it will execute like that. So sig empty, I am checking whether the signal mask is empty or not, right? Next, what I am doing, if I am checking with the if condition, sig mask, if is signal, whether signal mask is present or not, I am checking that, right? Getting guys? So whether it is empty, it will print as a error. If a signal mask is not empty, it will take some action, right? If it is not empty, it's going to take the action on the particular signal that is in the signal mask, that is present in the signal mask. It's very simple. First it will check whether the signal mask is there or not. If the signal mask is not there, it will print the error signal mask is not set the signal mask. If it is there, what it will do, it will catch the particular signal that is present in the signal mask, and it is going to check the action, right? And it's going to apply that particular action to that particular signal that is present in the signal mask. Hope you are understanding guys. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section, right? And next, along with that, if you want to add a particular signal, you can do that also, right? You can add, for here in this example, I am adding the signal. Which one is the signal I am adding here? Segmentation error signal I am adding here. And also after adding the signal to the signal mask, right? After adding the signal to the signal mask, I am calling the action handler call me. See, it will catch the call me. What it will do, it will catch the signal. Which signal it will catch? Signal segmentation VC, right? It will catch that segmentation signal and it will take the action. The action is defined. Whatever the action I am going to define in the struct sig action, it is going to take that action to the particular signal, which is that signal sig segmentation V. Getting guys? Very simple. I'm defining a function, call me function. I'm checking whether the mask is there or not, whether it is a mask is created or not. Once you make sure that mask is created, what you will do means you will add the particular signal to the signal mask, right? Once you add the particular signal to the signal mask, you are calling the action handler. What is the action handler here? Call me is the action handler. You are calling that, you are catching that particular signal, because in call me you know that I am catching the particular signal. I am catching the signal 6 segmentation here. After catching that signal, right, I am calling the action flags. It will, and I'm setting that action flags to 0. That means it will take a particular action that is defined in the action function, right? So I'm next, what I'm doing, I'm checking sig action whether it is defined in the particular action is defined for that particular signal in the particular action function. So if it's not there, I'm going to print the error. Otherwise it will take the action, right? And also it will wait for the signal interruption. You can see there in the above example, the process signal mask is set with the signal term signal. So signal mask is set here, you can see there. So this is the code. If a signal mask is not there, you have to set that. Whether you have to check whether the signal mask is there or not. The process then define a signal handler for signal int signal. You can see there, right? Signal handler, I told you already, right? Next, signal segmentation signal is to be blocked when the process is handling intel signal. I told you already which signal you are adding to the mask. Sig segmentation signal, right? Hope you are understanding, guys. So this is the output. So what is the action it took? Kill action it took. It captured the signal, it killed that particular kill action it took, and it is going to exit. Hope you are understanding. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. And one more important thing, the SA field of the sig action is used to specify special handling for certain signals. I explained about SA here, right? SA field contains 3 different types of actions that can be taken place for particular signal. So POSIX 1 defines only 2 values for SA flag, 0 or no child stop. 0 or no child stop. So what is the meaning of this? The no child stop flag is an integer literal defined in the signal.h header and can be used when signal number is 6 child. 6 child, why I use the 6 child signal? To notify the parent that child is terminating. So I'm going to use that no child stop to tell that, right, you have to wait, and we have to wait until the parent is going to clear the resources. That's why, right? The effect of the no child stop flag is that the kernel will generate the 6 child signal to the process when its child process has terminated, but not when the child process has been stopped. So when the child process has terminated, it is going to generate this no child stop to the particular parent process. Then it can understand that child process is terminated and it can deallocate the resources. Getting, guys? So in a SA flag, either you can use a 0 or no child stop. If the SA flag value is set to 0, what happens? The kernel will send the 6 child signal to the calling process whenever its child process is either terminated or stopped. 0 also, if it's 0 also, it will send the signal to the parent process that telling that the child process is stopped. Getting, guys? Right? And one more important thing, sorry, no child stop is going to be used when the child process is terminated, not been stopped. It's terminated, then only it will send the signal. When 0 means when the child process is terminated or stopped. Getting, guys? Understood the difference? 0 means it's going to tell the parent process when the child process is terminated or stopped. No child stop means it is going to tell when the child process has terminated, not when the child process stopped. Hope you are understanding. Getting, guys? Now you understood, I think, right? So see here, right? So here sig action SA handler. In the SA handler, if I use a sig no right, no child means it's going to tell the parent, right? That parent tell the parent that your child is terminated, right? Next, SA flag values, right? Some other flag values. These flag values are defined in system v4, right? So you can see there I'm using reset hand and also restart. I'm using these two flag values, reset hand and restart, reset hand and restart in the Unix system v4. So if the signal number is called, the SA handler is set to signal default before the signal handler function is called, and the signal number will not be added to the process signal mask when the signal handler function is executed. In simple words, whenever the signal number is caught, whenever the particular signal is caught, the signal handler, right, the signal handler is set to the value default, right? So default, to reset the action to the default value, you have to use the reset hand. Next, restart. If the signal is caught while the process is executing a system call, the kernel will restart the system call. So whenever the system call executing, if the process receives the signal, you have to restart the system call, right? Because you have to process that signal first. That's why. To restart that system call, you can use a restart function or restart flag value. Getting, guys? Hope you are understanding the concept. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.